Hey everyone, before we move on to today's topic, I want to answer a problem that a lot of comic readers have, the lack of a nearby community. While I'm lucky to be able to go to my local comic book shop and hang out, not everyone has this ability. Now, a lot of you have hit me up in the past asking my opinions on the Comics Amino app, and yes, this is a sponsored video by them, but honestly, this is a great community app that allows you to join up with your favorite communities and chat with like-minded people. Drop images, ask questions, and join discussions, all from your phone. But a lot of you already know about the Comics Amino app, but did you know that they just released a general app known as Amino? This app allows you to join whatever communities you want, and it keeps track of them all for you. As you can see, I'm already in the Comics Amino community, and I can access it through the Master app. You can click the links down below to check out the Master app yourself, and you can find me on there as Comicstorian. But this is great because you can join whatever topic you're really enjoying. Like my recent obsession with Pokemon Go has given me a community to join up with and talk about all of the crazy finds that we've had. Or the DC Universe Online community allowing me to discuss the latest patches and if it's time to return to the game. And honestly, if you can think of another community that you want to build on there, then make it. You can do it yourself right now. Anyway, let's move on to the topic on hand. Welcome to Know Your Universe, where I bring you stuff that's kind of fun and interesting and you might enjoy hearing about it. Today we're going to be talking about Spider-Man and his web shooters and the various incarnations of web fluid that we've seen throughout the years. Now, the original comic book origin for the web shooter is simply put, Peter Parker is a super genius that invented them. At first it was just some normal web shooters that allowed him to swing throughout the city, but eventually he adapted them to also fire tracers, have an LED light on them that alerts him when he's getting low, and even have a voice command. Other individuals have used them as well, such as Mary Jane Watson and Ben Reilly, his clone. Now, the list of individuals that have used the shooters is literally a video for itself, so we're only going to be talking about the types of web fluid. But before we move on to the web fluids, I do want to mention the organic web shooters that everyone seems to hate. Basically, the organic web shooters has been popping up here and there throughout the comic books, but normally they don't stick around. They've been everything from him turning into a giant spider and having organic web fluid, to him tapping into the totem spider mystical spirit being and gaining organic web fluid. Either way, in the end, he always ends up going back to his web shooters, and even in the movies, we eventually started using web shooters. Now, throughout the years, Peter Parker has generally used the standard web fluid. This is a thinning liquid that, with the proper force applied to it, turns into a hard substance similar to nylon. It's insanely strong, showing at times that it's even able to hold the Hulk in place. And after 1 hour, it typically dissolves. Throughout the years, there have been different types of this basic web fluid used by various individuals. A great example of that is when Otto Octavius took over the body of Peter Parker. He created a much stronger web fluid that was actually bulletproof, and it wouldn't dissolve within an hour. Peter Parker, when he got his body back, was unaware of that, made some underwear out of it, and was stuck with webbing on his, you know what, for quite a while. Now it's time to go on to the list of the other types of web fluid that have been used. Now, this is by no means an all-inclusive list, because there's probably some weird version out there that I missed when I was looking this stuff up. But here is a list of things that I did find have been used in the web shooters. Now, my favorite was introduced during the Clone Saga, the impact webbing. This is a little web pellet that fires out of the web shooter, and when it hits a target, it wraps around them, constraining them. There's also been taser webbing, which is just as it sounds. Spider-Man can fire it onto a target, locking it in place, and then use the taser webbing to shock the enemy, either harming them or stunning them. Acid webbing has been used to stop a few villains, but as usual, Spider-Man doesn't like killing, so he tries not to make this a lethal webbing. It looks too much like normal webbing also, so we had to place it into a special cartridge so we could tell the difference. Magnetic webbing is used to interfere with remote control frequencies and pull him to metallic objects. He uses this in situations where he needs to pull himself or others to metal in a hurry, such as when he was trying to save a crew in a space station and he attached them to Octobots to allow them to be pulled to safety. Lead-lined webbing sounds like it would be perfect in a battle against Superman, but since Superman is DC and Spider-Man is Marvel, we'll never see that fight. Anyway, since Spider-Man is Marvel, he uses it to handle radioactive material typically. Flame webbing is a highly combustible substance that will burst into flames when it hits a target. Due to the possible lethality of this, Spider-Man avoids using it whenever he can. One situation that he does use it in quite often, though, is against symbiotes. It is highly effective against them. And speaking of those nasty symbiotes, there's also sonic disruptors that can fire out of his web shooters and condense sound frequencies. Now, I know that's not typically a web fluid, it's more sound, but it does come out of the web shooter, so I'm going to count it. He also has an expanding web foam, which does exactly as it says. It expands when he shoots it and when he needs it to. The micro-coiled Z metal is basically a metallic strip fired at enemies. It stuns them, and Peter likes to call them his bug zappers. And lastly, we have quick drying web cement. Have you ever wondered how webbing can save things like bridges when they're falling apart? It's because he uses the quick drying web cement version. It will instantly allow him to stabilize structures that are weak and falling apart. Now, like I said, there's the cartoons, there's the movies, there's various TV shows, there's also random comic books out there where he's used more versions of these. And I've looked far and wide for various other types of web fluids, but the most complete list that I was able to find is on the official Marvel Wiki, so that's what we kind of ran with on this one. I hope you guys enjoyed, and let me know in the comments down below any other weird ones that popped up in the various other media that Spider-Man is in, even if it's not technically canon. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Comicstorian, Instagram at Comicstorian, and check out our gaming channel. We're bringing you Let's Plays and gaming lore and gaming comic books over there various times throughout the week. It's called Eligible Monster. The link's down below. We'd love to have you on board with that channel. Thank you, and I'll see you next time right here.